Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're great. So in this video, I want to show you how to create this dash effect. So here, as you can see, we have the dash and we have the Niagara system for the effects. So this is basically what I'm going to show you in this video. But before, if you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content. So let's start. First, let's start by making the dash functionality. For that, let's open the third-person character blueprint, this one here. And here, let's make some variables. So the first one is dashing. This is a boolean. Let's create another one for dash force, and this will be a float, and another one for dash cooldown, like so, and this is a float as well. Now let's create a function to dash. So here in functions, let's add one. I will name this dash. And first we need to see if we are already dashing, right? So let's drag the is dashing in the graph like this, and let's connect this in a branch. Let's connect the execution pin. And now I want to see if we are walking, because of course I want to dash only if we are walking. So to see this, I will check the velocity. So just right click and type get velocity, this one here. And from this we can get the vector length. Length, this one here. So this is a float. We just need to see if this is greater than 0, right? So let's drag and type greater than 0, and let's connect this in a branch as well. So now we will only dash if we are not dashing and if we are moving, right? Now we need to add a force to the character. So I will do this using the launch character node. So just right click and type launch character, this one here in the character category. Let's get this. Let's connect here from the true, right? So if the velocity here is greater than 0, we need to launch the character. So first we need to get a launch velocity. To do this, let's again get the velocity. So just type get velocity. Let's get this one here. And we need to multiply this with the dash force. So just drag from the return value here and type multiply. And in the second pin, connect the dash force, like so. And we just need the x and y values of this vector. So just right click on the pin here and click on split struct pin, and do the same for the launch velocity here, split struct pin, and connect the x and the y value, like so. And after launching the character here, we need to reset the dash. So to do this, I will create a new function. So here in functions, let's add another one. I will name this reset dash. So I'm creating a new function because maybe you have a more complex dash, right? So you need to reset a lot of things. So to organize, it's better to create a new function for that. So now here we just need to set the is dashing back to false. So just drag this in the graph with a set node and set it to false, and we need to clear the timer, but let's create the timer first. So let's go back to the dash, and here let's right click and type set timer by function name, this one here, right? Let's connect the execution pin. Here in the function name, you need to type the exact name of the function that you created. So for me is reset dash. So let me put here reset dash. The time here will be the dash cooldown. So let's drag here and connect here in the time, leave the loop in here false, and the max once per frame false as well. So now let's promote this return value to a variable. So just drag and promote to variable, and let's name this dash timer, something like this. Let me just organize here. So now let's go back to the reset dash. And after this, let's drag the dash timer and let's clear this timer. So just drag from the timer here and type clear and invalidate timer by handle. And there you go. For now, this is all we need to do in the reset dash. Now let's set some default values here. So for the dash force, I will put 10 here. And for the dash cooldown, let's put 1 second. And now we need an input to trigger this function, right? So let's go back to Unreal, to the folders here. Let's go to Input, Actions, and here let's create the action. So just right click and go to Input, Input Action. I will name this IA dash. Now let's go back to the input folder and let's open the IMC default. Here we need to add the mapping. So here in mappings, just add one. Here we need to select the action, so IA dash, and now we can select the key. So for me, I will use the left shift like this, right? Let's save, and now let's go back to the functions. Now we just need to go back to the event graph, and here let's search for the input. So just right click and type IA dash to get the action, this one here. And when this completed, we need to call the dash function. So let's just connect here. And now we can test to see if this is working. And I forget to set the isDashing to true here in the dash function after checking if we are not dashing and if we are moving. So after all this, we need to set the dashing to true because of course now we are dashing. So let's drag the isDashing in the graph like this as a set node. Let's connect here. And of course, let's set this to true. And now we can test this. So let's go back to Unreal here and let's hit play to see if this is working. So now if I'm walking and if I press shift, as you can see, we add a force to the character, but now we don't have any friction, right? So let's fix that. And to fix that, let's go back to the third-person character blueprint, and here let's select the character movement component. So here in general settings, let's disable the use separate breaking friction, this one here, and let's scroll down until we see the jumping falling category. Here, as you can see, we have the falling friction. So let's put 10 on this option here. Let's compile and save. And now if we hit play, we should have the dash working. As you can see, if I press shift, we have the dash. And of course, you can change the values to make this dash longer or not. Now we need to create the effect for the dash. So for that, I will create a new folder here in the content. So let me just create this folder. I will name this dash system. And here we need to create a Niagara system for the effect. So just right click and go to FX and Niagara system. Here select create empty Niagara system, and I will name this NS dash effect like this. So let's open this and let's make the effect. First, let's add a emitter. So just right click and go to add emitter, and here select add minimal Niagara emitter, right? So this will add a emitter with emitter state, initialize particle, particle state, and a sprite renderer. This is the default stuff that we need to make particles in Unreal, right? So now let's add some modules to this. But first, let's change this emitter from CPU to GPU simulation, right? To do this, just click on Properties, and here instead of CPU simulation, select GPU compute simulation, and here in Calculate Bounds, select Fixed. Now this simulation is running on the GPU, right? Now let's start by adding a spawn burst. To do this, here in the emitter update, click on the plus here and select spawn burst here, right? So this will add this module, and here in the spawn count, we need to add we need to put here the amount of particles that we want for the simulation. So for me here, I will put 10,000 like this. And now we are spawning 10,000 particles in the beginning of the simulation, right? Only one time. But as you can see, they are all spawning in the same location. So I want to change that. So I want this particle to spawn in the shape of the character. To do this, here in the particle spawn, let's add a module. So just click on the plus here and let's search for skeletal mesh location, this one here, right? So let's select this, and here in the preview mesh, let's select the SKM Queen Simple because this is the mesh that I'm using here, right? So I will select this mesh, And here in the default mesh, I will select the same mesh. And as you can see, now we are spawning the particles in the location of the skeleton of this character, right? But now the particles are way too big, so let's change that. To do this, let's go back to initialize particles, and here we have the sprite size mode. Let's change that to random uniform, so that way we can put a minimum size and a maximum size. So for me here, I will put 0.5 and 2 here, 0.5 on the minimum and 2 on the maximum. And now you can see better the shape of the skeleton of this character here, right? But I don't want to spawn the particles in the shape of the bones, in the shape of the skeleton of the character, right? I want to spawn these particles in the shape of the actual mesh. So to do this, just select the skeleton mesh location, just scroll down until you see the mesh sampling type here, and change that to surface triangles. And now, as you can see, we are spawning the particles in the shape of the actual mesh. And by the way, if you're having this error here, CPU access error, just click on Fix Now. And there you go, now all the errors are fixed. Okay, so now let's add some forces to the particles. So to do this, here in particle spawn, let's add a curve noise force, this one here. And for this to work, we need to add a solve forces and velocity module to the particle update. So here in particle update, just click on the plus and search for solve forces and velocity. Right? And another module that we need to add for this to work is the apply initial forces. So here in particle spawn, let's click on the plus and add apply initial forces. And after adding these two modules, as you can see, now we have some forces in the particle. So now let's go back to the curve noise force to change some values here. You can play around with these two values here, the noise strength and noise frequency, but I will put 30 on the noise strength and I will leave the noise frequency as 50. But for now, as you can see, the lifetime of the particles are way too high, so let's change that. To do this, click on initialize particles, and here we have the lifetime. So here I will put 2. And again, you can play around with this value. Another thing that I want to do here is scale the sprite size over time. So to do this, let's add another module here to the particle update. So just click on the plus and let's search for scale sprite size, this module here. So as you can see here we have a curve, so now we can change the size over time of the particle, right? So for me, I will start at 0, then I will grow to 1, so basically full size, stay at 1 until we reach 0.5 and then grow back to 0. So this first one here, let's leave as 0. You can add more points by clicking with the middle mouse button like this. So let's select this second point. This I will put in the 0.05 position, so basically here, and the value here, let's put 1. So I will add another one in the 0.5 here. Let's leave at 1 as well. And this last one, let's put the value at 0, as you can see. So now we just need to select all this point here. You can hold shift and select the points. Right click and select Auto. This will make the curve more smooth, as you can see. And now we can select individual points here to change the handles, basically like this. And now the particle is start at 0 and then in the final of its life go back to 0, as you can see. Now I want to change the color over time as well. So here in particle update, let's add another module and let's add the color module, this one here, right? So now we can set the color of the sprite, but I want to set the color over time. So to do this, just click on this arrow here and select color from curve. And now we have a gradient to set the colors, right? And now let's change the colors. To change the color, just double click on this dot here. I don't know how to call this, but just double click on this dot and you will have the color picker. So for the first one, I will put a light blue here with 50 on the value, like this. And for the second color, I will put a dark blue with 20 on the value, like this. And for the second color here, I will increase the alpha. To increase the alpha, just double click on this bottom dot here, right? So I will put 1 here. And of course, you can drag those points around as well. So this is basically how you can change colors with lifetime. And this is basically it for this effect. There is one more thing that I want to add here, but I will add this later. So for now, let's just add this effect to the dash system. Now let's go back to the third person character blueprint. Here in viewport, we need to add the Niagara system. To do this, just click on add here in components and search for Niagara. And here we have the Niagara particle system. And as you can see, we already have the effect because the Niagara system is already set here in the asset, right? But now let's turn off the auto activate. So let's just uncheck this. Let's compile and save. And let's go back to the dash function. And here we need to activate the Niagara system. So to do this, here after setting the isDash to true, let's drag the ns dash effect, and from this we can type activate. So let's get this node here, activate. Let's connect here and here. There you go. And now we need to deactivate this in the reset dash function. So let's open the reset dash function, and here after cleaning the dash timer, let's deactivate the dash effect. So just drag the dash effect and type deactivate this node here. And there you go, now we can test the effect. So let's go back to the map and let's hit play to see if it is working. So now when we dash, as you can see, we have the first spawn burst, as you can see. But I want more of these bursts. So let's go back to the Niagara system and add more. And here in the Niagara system, to make the spawn burst run multiple times, we just need to loop this emitter here. So to do this, just click on emitter state, and here in lifecycle mode, instead of system, select self. And here, as you can see, we can select infinity, once, or multiple. So let's select multiple. Here we can define the loop count and the loop duration. So the loop count I will put at 4. So this is basically how much times this emitter will loop. So basically 4 times. And here the loop duration is of course the duration of the loop. So here I will put 0.1 just to test this. So now let's compile and save, and let's hit play again. And now when we dash, as you can see, we have the burst multiple times. And now I will change these values here, the loop count to 5 and loop duration to 0.02. Let's compile and save and test this again to see. And there you go, now it's much better. And for the core noise force, I changed the strength to 15 and the frequency to 20. And of course, you can play with all those values to get the effect that you want. So for me, is this one. And now I want to add one more touch to the system by adding a camera shake. So to do this, first we need to create a camera shake asset. So let's go back to the folders here in dash system folder. Just right click and go to blueprint class. Here in all classes, search for camera shake. And let's create this one here, camera shake base, right? So just create this, and I will name this dash camera shake. Let's open this, and here we need to set some values. But first we need to select a shake pattern. So just click here and select purling noise camera shake pattern. Let's expand this, and here let's expand the location and rotation and timing, because these are the values that we're gonna change. So for the location amplitude, let's put here 3, and for the location frequency, let's put 30 here. So basically the amplitude is the amount of shake, right? And the frequency is how frequent the shake will be. So we are setting this for both X, Y, and Z. So for all the 3 axes, and if you don't want one axis here, just put 0 in the amplitude and 0 in the frequency for the axis that you don't want to shake, right? So I will do the same for the rotation. So I will put 3 on the amplitude and 30 on the rotation frequency, and for the duration of the shake I will put 0.2. And there we go. This is basically all we need to do in this dash camera shake. So let's compile and save, and let's go back to the third person character, because now we need to apply the camera shake when we dash. So here in the dash function, let's apply this after activating the Niagara system. So let me just make some room here, like so. So here, just right click and type play world camera shake, this node here. Let's select this, let's connect the execution pins, and first we need to select the class. So here in shake, select the class that you created. So for me is dash camera shake, right? And we need to connect an epicenter. So this basically will be the camera location. So let's just drag the follow camera here, and from this let's get the world location, like so, and this will be the epicenter, right? So the inner radius let's leave at 0, because we need this to be as close as possible to the camera location here, and the outer radius I will put here 300. And there you go. Let's compile and save, and let's see if this is working. And now if we hit play, we should have the camera shake. So let me test. There you go. I don't know if you can see this, but now we have a camera shake. And of course, if you want, you can change the camera shake values to make this more noticeable, right? But for now, I will leave this as it is. And as a final touch, let's add a simple sound to the dash. So I imported this sound here. This is from Zapsplat. I'll leave a link in the description so you can download this if you want, but this is just a simple whoosh sound. So as you can hear, right? So let's just play this sound when we dash. So let's go back to the third person character, and here, after playing the camera shake, let's play the sound. So here, just type spawn sound 2D. I will spawn a 2D sound here. Let's connect the execution pin, and let's select this sound here. So this whoosh sound, right? And for the volume multiplier here, I will put 0.3. And there you go. Let's compile and save, and now we should have this sound each time that we dash, as you can hear. And this is basically it for this video. I hope you like it, I hope you learned something new, and if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. That helps me a lot. And as always, thank you for watching, keep learning, I'll see you in the next video.